What if the weight loss hormone everyone talks about could be activated by ingredients already in your kitchen? Ozempic floods your body with GLP-1, a hormone you make naturally. Certain everyday foods trigger that same hormone, no injection needed. In this video, we'll cover 3 kitchen staples that wake up your natural weight loss hormone, plus a supplement cheaper than coffee. But first, let's quickly understand what GLP-1 actually does. GLP-1 stands for glucagon-like peptide 1, but you can think of it as your body's satiety hormone. After you eat a meal, specialized cells in your gut release this hormone to tell your brain that you're full. And it slows down how quickly food leaves your stomach, so you feel satisfied for a longer stretch of time. GLP-1 also helps your pancreas release insulin, which keeps your blood sugar steady after you finish eating. Ozempic and drugs like it work by artificially keeping this hormone high in your bloodstream for many hours, and that's exactly why people lose weight while taking them. The part most people miss is that your body already makes GLP-1 every time you eat, and the right foods can turn up that natural signal without any needles or prescriptions. Let's start with the one that takes less than a minute to prepare. Food number 1: apple cider vinegar. The first food is something you probably have in your cabinet right now, and you can put it together in under 60 seconds. Apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid, which researchers have found slows the digestion of starches and moderates the blood sugar spike that normally follows a carbohydrate-rich meal. When your blood sugar rises more gradually after eating, your gut releases GLP-1 in a steadier pattern instead of a quick spike followed by a crash. And that keeps you feeling satisfied rather than hungry again an hour later. A meta-analysis published in Diabetes Research and Clinical Practice looked at multiple clinical trials and confirmed that vinegar consumption significantly lowers post-meal glucose and insulin responses across the board. You might be wondering why something as simple as vinegar could have this kind of effect on a weight loss hormone. The answer is that acetic acid interferes with the enzymes that break down complex carbohydrates, which means starches enter your bloodstream more slowly. And that slower entry is exactly what triggers a stronger GLP-1 response from your gut cells. To use this at home, simply mix 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar into a large glass of water and drink it 15 to 20 minutes before a meal that contains bread, rice, pasta, potatoes, or other starches. If the taste is too sharp at first, you can start with 1 teaspoon and work your way up over a week or 2 until your palate adjusts. One common mistake is drinking it after you have already finished your meal, because the timing matters, and taking it beforehand gives the acetic acid time to start working before the food reaches your stomach. Another mistake is drinking it straight without water, which can irritate your throat and damage tooth enamel over time, so always dilute it properly. You don't need expensive organic brands for this to work, and a standard bottle from any grocery store will give you the same acetic acid content. Now, vinegar acts as a fast pre-meal hack, but the next food works throughout your entire morning to keep that hormone elevated. Food number 2: oats. Vinegar works as a quick pre-meal trick, yet oats work on a completely different timeline because they actually build your GLP-1 levels throughout the morning and keep your appetite in check for hours. Oats aren't just a warm breakfast, because they contain a special type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan that forms a thick gel when it mixes with water in your gut. This gel physically slows down how fast food moves through your gut, and that slowness is a direct signal to the cells that release GLP-1, telling them to pump out more of the hormone. A 2018 randomized crossover trial published in the journal Appetite found that when healthy adults ate oat beta-glucan at breakfast, their GLP-1 concentrations increased significantly. They felt less hungry, and they ate less at a later buffet meal compared to when they ate a low-fiber breakfast. More recently, a 2025 study in Food and Function confirmed that 4 grams of oat beta-glucan at breakfast enhanced satiety and reduced hunger scores significantly throughout the entire morning. To get this benefit at home, choose rolled oats or steel-cut oats instead of instant packets, because less processed forms retain more beta-glucan fiber. Aim for roughly 1 cup of cooked oats, which delivers about 3 to 4 grams of beta-glucan, depending on the exact variety and how thick the oats are cut. You can add a sprinkle of cinnamon or a tablespoon of chia seeds for extra soluble fiber without adding any sugar. And both of those additions support steady blood sugar on their own, too. The biggest mistake people make is reaching for flavored instant oatmeal that's loaded with added sugar, because that sugar rush counteracts the very blood sugar stability that triggers your natural GLP-1 release. When you eat oats the right way, you're not just filling your stomach with bulk, you're literally slowing the exit of food from your gut, so your body has more time to register that it's full and satisfied. Beta-glucan is one of the most studied fibers for appetite control, and the research is unusually consistent for a nutrition topic. That consistency is why specialists recommend oats as a first-line food strategy for people who want to manage their weight naturally without turning to medication. You can prepare a big batch of steel-cut oats on Sunday and reheat portions all week, which makes this an easy habit to stick with even on busy mornings. But oats aren't the only fiber that talks to your GLP-1 cells, and the third food works through a part of your body that most people never think about when they sit down to eat. Food number 3, lentils. Oats are powerful, but they're not the only food that signals your GLP-1 cells to release more hormone. There's another type of starch that bypasses your stomach and small intestine entirely, and most people have never heard of how it works. Lentils contain resistant starch, which means your digestive enzymes can't break it down in the upper part of your gut. So it travels all the way to your colon, where trillions of gut bacteria ferment it into fuel. That fermentation process produces short-chain fatty acids, and those fatty acids are powerful chemical triggers that tell your gut cells to release GLP-1 in a sustained, day-long manner instead of a brief spike. A landmark study published in the journal Diabetes showed that dietary-resistant starch upregulates total GLP-1 and another satiety hormone called PYY through this fermentation mechanism in the colon. This creates a slower and longer-lasting fullness signal than simple fiber alone, because the bacteria keep working for hours after you have finished your meal. To use lentils at home, add half a cup of cooked lentils to soups, salads, curries, or serve them as a simple side dish with olive oil and herbs. They cook in 20 to 30 minutes from dry. Or you can use canned lentils that you rinse under cold water to remove excess sodium before you eat them. One mistake is treating lentils as an occasional health food instead of a regular staple, because the GLP-1 benefits build when you eat resistant starch consistently several times per week, rather than just once in a while. The gut microbiome angle is what makes lentils so interesting, because you are feeding the beneficial bacteria that live inside you every time you eat them. And those bacteria then reward you with the exact same satiety hormone that pharmaceutical companies are selling in expensive injection form. If you have avoided lentils because you think they take too long to prepare, try keeping a can in your pantry and tossing them into whatever you're already cooking. Those three foods work well on their own. But there's one more tool that researchers have been studying for years, and it costs less than a lunch out. If you want an extra edge beyond the kitchen staples, there's one natural supplement that researchers have studied for years. Berberine is a yellow plant compound that has been used in traditional medicine for thousands of years, and it's gained attention recently as a natural option for blood sugar and weight management. Studies in rats have shown that berberine increases GLP-1 secretion directly, and human reviews back up at least some of those effects. One systematic review found that people taking 500 milligrams of berberine daily lost about 4 pounds on average, with improvements in insulin sensitivity and cholesterol levels too. Higher doses, over 1,000 milligrams, showed more variable results, but the weight loss and metabolic benefits were still present across the studies. If you decide to try berberine, most over-the-counter supplements range from 500 to 1,500 milligrams daily, usually split into 2 or 3 doses taken with meals. You should always consult your doctor before starting berberine, especially if you already take blood sugar or blood pressure medication, because berberine can interact with common prescriptions. It's not a direct replacement for Ozempic, but it's one of the most affordable and studied natural supplements in this space. Before we finish, here's one simple recipe you can make in under a minute. Mix 1 cup of warm water with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a squeeze of lemon. Drink this 15 minutes before your largest meal of the day, and the vinegar will start moderating your blood sugar while the cinnamon adds its own gentle support for steady insulin levels. It's a simple habit that puts the principles we discussed into action right away. Your body already makes the same hormone that expensive drugs are designed to mimic, and your kitchen is full of tools that turn it on naturally. Start with the vinegar trick before dinner. Make oats your regular breakfast, and keep a can of lentils in your pantry. Subscribe for more natural health tips.